Hi, my name is Victoria, but you can call me V, and this is Chronically Fierce Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is episode 2, and I'm so excited to be filming this episode in Scottsdale, Arizona, because I think it just speaks to the power of sharing your story. And that's what this episode is going to be about, the importance of ostomates sharing their truth. And I want to speak to the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God is a vow that I take to share on social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, and good morning. Good morning. I am in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm actually in Scottsdale, Arizona, and you may hear a lot of noise in the background. That is because I am outside and I am recording live from a resort that I am staying in. And I'm in Scottsdale. The reason I'm here is because I was asked to come and speak for a national sales meeting for Coloplast. And this is not a sponsored podcast or anything like that. However, I am a Coloplast social media ambassador, and this is a part of my scope of work. I do in-person appearances, but I am so honored and grateful that I was asked to come and help them kick off their national sales meeting. Any opportunity I have to share my story, I hop on it simply because I know it is impactful, because there are so many people in this world that have that exact same story and may not have the platform or access to the type of platform that I have in order to share that story. However, it doesn't mean that their story is not important. So I make it my mission to make sure that I share my story in an impactful way so that people can take that information and apply it in their everyday life. Well, here in Phoenix at this national sales meeting, I got the opportunity to kick off this morning. I spoke for about 30 minutes and I simply shared my truth. I told them about my journey to becoming an ostomate. And I want to just speak on that, the importance of sharing our stories. It is so easy to get on social media as an IBD influencer and show the good. What bag posts, okay? How I style my ostomy, swimming, going out to eat, all the things I can do with an ostomy. I'm guilty of it as well, always showing the good side. However, I've been making it my mission lately to show the truth. The bad days, when my bag bursts, when we have leaks, when your bag balloons, and when it pancakes. So that I can give a real example, a raw truth to the people that follow me on social media, that look to me for advice, that look to the way I live my life as an ostomate. I don't want them to have a false sense of who I am. I want them to understand that there are some days that I hate my bag, and that's okay. Grief and gratitude can coexist in the same space, and that is okay. You may have days that are filled with gratitude, and that's amazing, and I love that for you. But if you're anything like me, you may have some days that are heavy and full of grief, and that's okay too. Life as an ostomate is not easy. But that doesn't mean this life is not worth living. It absolutely is. My life is so much better with my bag. I've experienced things with my bag that I would never imagine experiencing without my bag. So many goals, so many dreams I've touched with my bag. But prior to my bag, I didn't even have enough hope to dream. I didn't have any hope. I was a shell of a person. It's so important as ostomates that we share our story on any platform. And don't get so bogged down in the numbers. I'm guilty of it. There was a point in my life where I was more concerned with how many followers I had, more concerned with who was watching my message versus actually getting the message out there. I'm here to tell you, keep driving forward, keep speaking your truth, keep sharing your story. It matters and it's impactful. me sharing my story landed me on the cover of a magazine. So, hey, I'm so happy to be alive. Even like just sitting here feeling the sun on my face, like there's a little girl running around playing hide and go seek with her mom or her aunt or a family member. There are people walking, there's birds chirping, there's palm trees everywhere. Like there's so much life. There's so much life. And I'm so happy that I chose life. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. I encourage you to share your story. It doesn't matter how insignificant you think you are, how embarrassing you may think your story is. There is definitely someone that will be encouraged. There is someone that can relate, and there is a community waiting for you. I did not ask for this life. And when it became a situation where I no longer had an option, I still did not want this life. I don't know too many people that would choose to have an ostomy bag. Even people like me that live with one permanently. If I had the choice, I certainly would not choose to live with an ostomy. Yet here I am, living with an ostomy. So that is the core of my presence on social media, is showing people that not only are you not alone in your feeling isolated and feeling like the only one on this planet. So even on the days where you feel like, man, I hate my ostomy, I hate being the only one in the room with an ostomy bag, on that same token, you can also feel, I'm so happy to be alive. And I'm so happy that I get to experience these things. And I'm so happy that I get to share my story. As hard as it may be to get in front of your phone or on a stage or in church or in that support group or wherever and share your experience, share your trauma, share that raw, real truth, those real emotions. As hard as it may be to do that, there is so much strength in revealing the parts of yourself that you may be embarrassed, revealing the parts of yourself that may still be healing and recovering from this traumatic experience. There's so many layers to living life as an ostomy. There's no right or wrong way to walk this path. But I would encourage you, if you have an ostomy, whether it's temporary, permanent, whether you know someone with an ostomy, encourage them to speak their truth. Encourage them to share their story. I did not realize how many people, how many lives I would impact by simply telling someone what happened, by simply saying out loud the way that I felt, by simply sharing my experience, the impact that I've made. Sharing my experience got me here. Scottsdale, Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, at a beautiful resort. I'm at the Westin. Okay, and we are back. This is part 2 of the Chronically Fierce podcast, and I'm live right now. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I am poolside right now at the Westin Resort in Scottsdale. Earlier today, I was in a small sitting area outside of the resort, but I have completed my obligation for the day. As a recap, I was invited to Scottsdale, Arizona by Coloplast. I am a Coloplast social media ambassador. So I was invited by Coloplast to come out and help them kick off their national sales meeting. I am so honored, super excited to have been asked to come out here. But now I wanted to come back to our conversation about the importance of sharing our story. As you guys know, I am all over TikTok, and I just share my life. Honestly, I share my transparent story. The reason I do that is to help all of the people that are starting this process of life as an ostomate, people that may be entering into this journey for the first time, and even the ones that are on this journey and have been on it for years. All of the work that I do on social media is for those people because I just want to show people that life as an ostomate is so hard, but it is also so rewarding. I am so happy to be alive. I'm so honored that anyone even cares about what I have to say or what my experience was like. Knowing what I know now, if I could go back in time, and talk to the girl that was waking up from that colonoscopy and getting her official diagnosis of ulcerative colitis, what I would tell myself is not to focus on the present. And I know that that's so like counterintuitive and so opposite of what the world has told us, right? The world tells us to be present. The world tells us to live in the moment. It even encourages us to live in the moment. You even have songs, right? YOLO, you only live once. But when I started my process, I was so engulfed, I was so absorbed in that present moment of pain. And not just physical pain, mental anguish, spiritual pain, emotional pain. I was so stuck in that moment that I could not fathom that my future would be bright. I couldn't fathom that my life would get better. So, and I'm sorry guys, I'm recording on 2 cameras on this podcast, so I'm trying to make sure that the feedback isn't so loud. But I said all of that to say I couldn't see that my life was going to ever get better because I was so absorbed and bogged down in the present and in the moment of anguish and frustration and feeling as though I had lost something, which I did, right? I lost a lot. I lost an organ, for God's sake. And now I'm living with a permanent ostomy. I lost a choice, right? I didn't choose this life. I didn't want this life. There aren't many people that I can think of that would willingly volunteer to live with a temporary, let alone a permanent ileostomy. I can't think of many people. But I'm here to tell you, man, my life is so beautiful, and I never imagined that I would experience the things that I'm experiencing, that I would see the things that I'm seeing, that the opportunities that have been presented to me would come my way. I did not see past the bag. I started sharing my story out of desperation. I started sharing my story because I felt so alone and so isolated. And I felt like there was no one on this planet that could possibly understand anything that I was experiencing. I had self-isolated. So whenever I transparently began sharing my experience, that's when I quickly discovered that there is a huge community of ostomates, millions of ostomates that have the exact same and or similar experience as I do, that have the same thought process, the same feelings, that also grapple with grief and gratitude at the same time. There are people that understand, people that see me. I found my tribe. I found the community that I was looking for. I had to build it myself. I see so many IBD influencers now, and I am not saying that I'm like some trailblazer and that I led the way. I don't claim that at all. But what I do know is whenever I started creating content, I did not see nearly as many IBD influencers as I do now. I absolutely love it. Some of my favorite IBD influencers: Chronically Tay, Life with Renee, Mr. Crohn's and Colitis, V. Michael Ashley, Male with IBD, Crohn's and Sexy. There's a whole community. And to think I felt alone. I felt so alone. I'm here to tell you there are so many support groups. I have a support group, Ostamigos. You can follow Ostamigos on Instagram. You can also find Ostamigos support group on Facebook. And that's exactly what it is. You know, my husband was in the Army for 11 years, and I heard this term often, this Army jargon, this idea of a battle buddy. And I asked him, what is a battle buddy? What does that mean, battle buddy? A battle buddy is someone that's been to battle with you. It's just that. It's your battle buddy. You don't go anywhere without your battle buddy. It's someone that you can call and they're going to pick up the phone. You send them the bat signal, they're going to answer. You need support, you need advice, you need counsel, you need prayer. It's your battle buddy. Ostamigos and several other support groups on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Ostamigos specifically is the place where you can find your battle buddy. Ostamigos is my support group, my vision, my space, a space that I'm creating for people like me. It's a space that I'm creating for people like me, for people that have a love-hate relationship with their ostomy, for people that grapple with grief and gratitude in the same space, for people that haven't quite figured out how to exist with this prosthetic device. The support group that I've created, the community that I'm curating, that space is for you. You are welcome. I hear you. I see you. There's space for you here. There's space for you on the Chronically Fierce podcast. And that is another reason that I took on this venture. All of the DMs that I receive, all of the messages, all of the emails, all of the texts and the calls that I receive from the people that are also a part of this community that are lost, that need help, that need support, that need advice, that need product knowledge, that need to feel seen in the social media space. Representation matters. It matters. I want to see myself. I want to see people that look like me, people that I can relate to, because I want to know that this is okay. I want to know that this is acceptable. I want to know that your brand doesn't think I'm the black sheep too. I'm starting to see more and more representation of women with ostomies in mainstream media, and I love it. I'm here for it. Ari. There's a young lady, her name is Sarah. I think she's out of Canada. I've seen her in so many different advertisements, specifically lingerie advertisements. Her name is Sarah. I see her in swimsuit ads, lingerie ads. She makes it look fun. She makes it look sexy. It is sexy. I am sexy. You are sexy. You are seen. You matter. You're loved wholly and fully the way you are, with your scars and your bag. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Because anybody that tells you anything different doesn't deserve any space in your life. This is the second episode of the Chronically Fierce podcast. And again, I am coming to you guys live right now, poolside in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'll pan the camera just a little bit, not too much, for the privacy of the people that are here on vacation and enjoying time with their family. I totally get it. I'm going to wrap this up because I see some sparkling, crystal clear water calling my name. And I'm going to get in the pool with my ostomy bag and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to live my best life. But I wanted to record this episode to encourage you all to continue to share your story, continue to speak your truth, continue to encourage not just others, but yourself. A lot of the times, the messages that I put out aren't necessarily meant for other people. They're specifically tailored and designed for me. But the fact that it resonates with so many people lets me know that we all have more in common than we care to believe. My name is Victoria, but you can call me V. And this is the second episode of the Chronically Fierce podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Make sure you're following the Chronically Fierce podcast on Spotify and make sure you're following me. Again, my name is Victoria, but you can call me V, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at You Can Call Me V on TikTok, and You Can Call Me VIG on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Chronically Fierce podcast. I'll see you guys next week.